Hey guys, I haven't filmed a video like this in quite a while, and please excuse my backdrop and my hair. I decided to do all my filming at my desk today and I didn't want to move all my makeup, so we're using this as my backdrop. And my hair, I haven't even done it yet. I got out of bed and was like, hey, we're gonna go ahead and film a video. So the video that we're doing today is going to be my every single day makeup routine using drugstore products. Everything that I use is drugstore. We're going to go through my routine and I'm going to be trying some of these things out for the first time ever. So I wanted to go ahead and try them on camera with you guys and let you know my opinions of them along the way. So if you want to see how I do my makeup every single day using drugstore products, then let's go ahead and get into the video. Alrighty you guys, so I've already moisturized my face with this Bioderma gel cream. This is the Hydra Bio line. It's the moisturizing line. That's pretty much what I use every morning as my moisturizer. So the next thing I'm going to do is use a primer. And the primer I'm using is One Heck of a Blot from Soap and Glory. So I basically just focus the primer around my nose area because that's where I feel my pores are the largest, and then I'll just kind of take whatever's left onto my forehead and like down the center of my face. I don't apply it everywhere. So after I have moisturized and applied my primer, the next thing I'm going to do is color correct. So for color correcting, I like to use this NYX purple, what is it even called? Full coverage concealer. Like I said, it's the purple one. I feel like it just helps brighten up my under eye area better than like a green or an orange would. You can already kind of tell how it's brightened up my eye. I'm going to put a little bit on my eyelids as well. So after my color correcting, I like to go in with my foundation. I've got this a few days ago. It's only been used once by me. And it's the number 7 Protect and Perfect foundation. So it's hydrating, age defying. It's supposed to have like this film that just kind of lays over lines and pores, which I don't really have a lot of lines, but I feel like it does give me more of a even look to my face. So far, like I said, I've only used it once. And I'm using the shade Warm Ivory. So I just take my foundation and dot it all around my face. This one is not a full coverage foundation, so I add a little bit extra when I know that it's not full coverage. And then I'm going to be using my Real Technique sponge. It's already been damped and wrung out, so I'm going to use that to blend out the foundation. And after foundation, I like to go in with my concealer. The one that I've been really loving is the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. It's got the large, I don't know how well you can see it. It's got the large applicator, which I like because I just use it underneath my eyes. So I do kind of that triangular shape. And the shade I'm wearing is 340 Fawn. And again, I'm just going to be blending it out with that same sponge. So immediately after blending out the concealer, I like to go in with my powder. I'm using the number 7 Light Translucent Powder. It's the loose powder. And I'm using a dry Real Technique sponge. This is a microfiber sponge. And I just like to pack the powder right on top of the concealer so it doesn't have a chance to crease. And then I just let it sit there until I'm ready to put powder all over my face. So right now I'm just going to continue doing the same exact thing on the other side. Okay, so now I'm going to go over my entire face with a powder. I'm just using a large powder brush, getting some on there, and then starting on my jaw and then working my way up. Because at the same time I'm going to be dusting off the excess powder that I just placed underneath my eye. So the next thing I'm going to do is kind of warm up and contour a little bit. I'm using a L'Oreal True Match powder in this shade N7. It's just a darker face powder. And I'm going to be using a little angled brush for this. And I just start on my cheekbones. I don't own like a real bronzer. This is all that I have right now, so I've just been making it work. I don't go too crazy with contouring. It looks really harsh in the camera, but in my mirror it looks like it's barely there, which is kind of scary. But yeah, I don't go too harsh with contouring or anything. I just like to warm up my face so I don't look super ghostly. And then I'm going to go in with some blush. So I am using the Almay powder blush in the shade Mauve. I'm just going to take a large brush and I start on the apples of the cheeks and then drag it upward. The powder looks really weird in the camera, so let's just try to ignore that because like in my mirror it looks completely fine. So next I'm going to go in with eyeshadow. I just bought this Almay eyeshadow trio. This is the number 80 Caffeine Kick. I like to use pretty much 2 or 3 colors on a daily basis, and I thought that these were good neutrals. So we're going to go ahead and try it out for the first time. This is actually my first time ever trying Almay eyeshadows, so let's see how this goes. When I do my eyeshadow, I normally use the same 3 brushes every single time. So the main one that I use is this brush from e.l.f. It's just the blending brush. Yeah, it's just called the blending eye brush. I believe it's like $2. This is the main brush that I use on a daily basis. Then I just have these other 2. I don't even know where I got these, probably off Amazon, but they're just like flat brushes. So I use this one to cut my crease. It's just a little tiny like concealer brush, and then I use the other flat brush to pack the color over the concealer. So those are the only 3 brushes that I use pretty much all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the dark brown from the Shadow Trio on my e.l.f. brush. And then I start packing my darker color on my outer corner. That is way more pigmented than I was expecting. So after I pack it on my outer corner, I just kind of start dragging it into my crease without adding any product to the brush. Yeah, that's a lot more pigmented than I expected. So I just kind of go back and forth to try to soften up the edges a little bit. And then I just leave it like this. And then I do the other eye. I don't know if you've noticed, but I did not apply a primer. I don't own one right now. I ran out and I just haven't gotten around to buying another one. So I just use my face makeup and powder to prime my eyes lately. It's not ideal, but it's been working. Okay, so I look pretty scary right now, so all I did was apply that brown from the outer corner all the way up into the crease. So then I'm going to just wipe the dark shadow off of that brush. And then I'm going to go in with this medium middle shade. And I'm going to use that to kind of diffuse the edges and blend it. I use a lighter hand with this one because we don't want the color to be too dark. So I start on top of the brown and then just gradually fade it upward. And then the closer I get to my eyebrow, the lighter I press on the brush. So the next step that I'm doing is what's going to kind of bring it all together and make it stop looking like a mess. So I like to use this e.l.f. concealer. It does kind of leak out of the top, but the product is really good. So this is the 16-Hour Wear Concealer from e.l.f. and this is in the shade Fair Warm. I like to use this one to cut my crease. So I just take it and put it on the back of my hand. Then I go in with the tiny concealer brush, just take some off of my hands and then cut the crease with it. I start on the lower lid and then work my way up. Then I'm going in with my other flat brush, and this top shade is darker than what I would normally go for, but I'm going to try to stick to the same shadow palette, so I'm just going to take this and pack it onto the concealer. And you see how it just kind of opened up my eye and doesn't look as sloppy anymore. I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing on the other eye now. Okay, so now that I have my crease cut on both sides, I'm going to go back in with my e.l.f. brush and the darker brown and pack it back on the outer corner. So after I've packed it on the outer corner, I'm going to wipe my brush off and then just blend it over that crease color a little bit. I mean, not the crease color, the lid color. And just try to blend it over top a little so that they fade into one another. I'm going to drag a little bit of that brown on the outer lower half of my lash line. So the next thing I like to do is go in with a white eyeliner on my lower waterline to open up my eye, and the one that I've been loving is the Maybelline Tattoo Studio white liner. I use this every single day, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it on my lower waterline. And you can just see how it's made my eye look a little bit more awake and open, which is exactly what I like to go for. I don't like when my eyes look really tiny and closed up, so that's why I do the liner and then like the shading on the outer corner. I just feel like that's what works best for opening up the eye. Okay, so now that the eyeshadow and everything's complete, I'm going to go in with my liquid eyeliner. I like to use the NYX liquid liner, the matte black one. So I like to start in the center of my eyelid because this is when the brush has the most product on it. I start in the center and then slowly inch my way forward to the inner corner. And then I inch my way back out. So once I have a line across my whole lash line, that's when I'm going to go ahead and wing it out. So I just draw like a hollow triangle and then just fill it in. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on my other eye. Okay, so while my eyeliner is drying, I'm going to go ahead and move on to my eyebrows. And this is the one single item that I'm not using from the drugstore. I haven't found a drugstore one. I haven't tried many either, but I haven't really found a drugstore brow pomade that really stays in place the way that the Anastasia one does. So I'm going in with my Anastasia Dip Brow in the shade Dark Brown. Like I said, the only product that I'm using that is not from the drugstore. So I'm taking this tiny little angled brush. It has a spoolie on the end. I just kind of brush through my hairs. Make sure they're not all stuck together. And then I go in the lid of the pomade and just get some of the product on there. And I need my little hand mirror. So what I do is I start on the bottom of my brow, kind of like I did with my eyeliner. I start sort of in the middle and then inch my way forward. And then inch my way out. Just kind of draw a line on the bottom of my brow. And then I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the top. And then I'll start filling it in a bit. Then I'll take the spoolie and just kind of brush through the front of the brow to soften up that product that's in the front. Because we don't want the, I'm going to say front again, we don't want the front of the brow to be too harsh and heavy. So I'm just kind of brushing through the brow. I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing on the other side, and then we'll get to the next step. Alright, so now that the pomade is all on the brow, I'm going in with a powder. I'm going in with a little bit of a larger angled brush and my NYX Eyebrow Cake Powder Duo. This is in the shade number 1 Black and Gray. So, it's really dirty, but I go in with the gray and I start by putting that on the front end of my brow. And then I go ahead and do the other brow. And then I'm going in with the black powder. And I'm start at the tail end and slowly work my way up toward about 2/3 of the way in. So I want to keep the front a little bit lighter than the tail end, which is why I do it this way. So now I'm going to go in with a mascara. The one that I'm going to be trying out for the first time is the L'Oreal Bambi Eye Mascara. It's supposed to give you that wide-eyed look, so we're going to see how that goes. I'm going to start off by curling my lashes. So let's see how this mascara goes. The brush is a little scary because I'm not used to this sort of brush. It almost looks like the CoverGirl Clump Crusher. I'm going to get my hand mirror for this. So far it seems like it's doing a really good job of separating the lashes. I don't feel like there's any clumping. Yeah, I don't see any clumping, but so far it's not as volumizing as I'm used to. So we're going to go ahead and let that side dry, do the other side, and then give it another coat and see what happens. Alright, I'm going to go in on this side and we'll see if it gives us any extra volume. Ugh, I just poked myself in the eye. So with the second coat of the mascara, I am seeing a little bit more volume, and it's still doing a pretty good job of separating the lashes. They almost have like that spidery look to them, which I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I don't know. I know I made a mess. I'm going to clean that up after it dries. We'll go in with one last coat on this other side. So I don't hate it, but I'm not sure if I'm in love with it yet either. I don't normally put mascara on my lower lash line because I prefer it to feel more open on the lower part of my eye so that my eyes look a little bit wider. So I'm going to go ahead and take a Q-tip to clean up where I bumped my skin. Then I'm going to go in with a little bit of lipstick. I'm using the Almay Lip Vibes in Be Strong. I think the packaging of these is really cute. I'm just going to dot it on there and then pat it in with my finger. So the last step in this makeup is going to be the setting spray. I've been liking using the Rimmel Stay Matte spray. Go ahead and soak my face in it, and then I got this fan from the Dollar Tree and I just fan my face with that so that the setting spray locks everything into place. And this is my finished everyday drugstore makeup look. I'm not even going to bother doing my hair because if I take this headband out, my bangs are just going to be sticking straight up. So I'm just going to leave my hair messy like this, and we'll go ahead and do a little close-up thingy for you guys.